Yeah. Yeah, well, Robert, everything's too early for you.
That's right, boy. The world ought to start at noon if I had my way
Yeah,
about it.
you're as bad as Jeannie.
I resemble that remark.
And I'm glad, like as I said, I'm glad I'm here because Rhonda is not. So
Right. Yeah, I was hoping she could join us. I sent her the information, but
yeah,
she's
well,
I've never seen her be able to call into Zoom. So
well, but she could dial in.
right. I don't know. So some people like they have no way to like take down a phone number.
Yeah.
So they're
Well, I know she calls into those phone chats like graffiti and some of those, so
yeah.
you had to get a way to get a number somehow. So
yeah, she dials into Livewire too, and you have to punch in all kinds of numbers for that too. So
Yeah.
that's no
So I
excuse
wonder,
at all.
does she have that as contacts though, or as
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
because I think she could do it if someone put the meetings she needed in as a contact, perhaps.
Well, and I think somebody puts her contacts in for her. So.
That, I mean, I will say that the way I think Jamie, her aide, does everything for her and doesn't show her how to do anything. Like she can't put in her own SSP requests.
I see. That makes sense.
And I've told her a million times, Rhonda, call Anna. She'll take the request from you on the phone.
Yeah.
Well, basically, she'll say, well, Jamie said I had to wait for her to do it.
Well, and since Jamie puts in a lot of her stuff, she gets her stuff pretty much priority.
Well, and then theoretically, if Jamie didn't want her to go somewhere for whatever reason, she could just not put a request in for Rhonda.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think this calls for another cup of coffee.
Yeah, we can officially start in just a second. But my implant warned me the battery's getting low, so I should probably change that first.
Yeah. Well, this is my first time doing this with Zoom on my blind shell, so this should take this should take care of any of my sounding underwater now.
And Jeff, I actually just emailed you the revised invoice.
Okay.
When we get done, if you want to take a look at it.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Is it something we were able to vote on now, or should?
I'm sorry.
Is it something we want to? Well, I'll look at it first.
Okay. Yeah.
And I guess we'll talk about it here in a moment.
I'd imagine they fixed it, but you never know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I copied you on the text I sent, on the email I sent to Corey, Jessica, and Larry, and then Jessica said she'd make sure that it got fixed.
Yeah, I don't know that. I didn't see it. You might have. I'm not finding it right off the bat.
While I'm sitting here, I'm going to look up. I mean, I'm sure Brett has the information about the park, but I'm going to look it up because I'm sure that it's got the address on it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the picnic in detail in a few minutes here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep. I know. I looked at the agenda, so.
Yeah. All right, so I think we're good to start. This is Brett speaking. Good morning, everyone. So we've got a pretty packed agenda, so we'll try to get rolling right with it. Did everyone receive Jeff's treasury report for January and February?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any comments or questions on those?
No, not that I could see.
Okay. Jeff, was there anything you wanted to share about those, or are we ready to
Not
vote?
not that I can recall off the top of my head. I think it's all pretty straightforward. The only thing I think I mentioned this before that sometimes I'll put an entry in on the same line for maybe like PayPal works kind of different. So we're getting once we PayPal is connected to our savings. So say I make a payment to PayPal and then Rhett makes the payment another day, sometime, like a day later or so, it will come in as one. So, so say I pay $20 and Rhett pays $20 to both of us to PayPal. Well, it might get dumped in the savings as $40. So then that's why you might see on one line Jeff and Brett on there. That's kind of how I'm doing that. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes.
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 Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about that.
Okay.
You
So
wanna
I think so
approve
then
that?
in that, yeah. So I think we're good to vote. Kim, do you approve the treasury reports?
Yes.
All right, Jeff,
Yes.
Lydia,
Yes.
Erica,
Yes.
Robert.
Yes.
All right, moving on from that, we have the board meeting minutes for the February meeting. Did everyone get a chance to look at and go over those?
Yes.
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 Any questions on those or?
No.
Okay.
Mary's here.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot to mention today we are doing listen only because our SSP had to back out and we're also having some technical difficulties. So we're doing listen only for today. And we apologize for that, but you can text, call, or email right afterwards. So okay, I think we're good. Kim, do you approve the summary?
Yes. I
Okay.
better edit it.
Jeff,
Yes.
Lydia,
Yes.
Erica,
Yes.
and Robert.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that is done. So Jeff, we don't need the full report today, but just kind of if you want to just give kind of an in brief as to how we did with the trivia.
Yeah. So with the trivia, we had a very good night. Let me scan down to my notes here. So our total expenses was $2,541.31. That was our total expenses. The money that we made is, drum roll, $7,793.49.
Whoop whoop.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice,
That's amazing.
nice. Yes, it is.
We did
Yeah.
really well.
What have we done in the past, Jeff?
Oh,
Brett
Yeah,
Brett told
this
me that
is
we raised like,
this is
go ahead,
Brett.
Brett.
So this is Brett. So nothing close to that. Maybe like between 2,000 and 3,000 typically is what we would usually get. Now,
by the way, Brett, am I allowed to speak or not?
That's fine. That's so. I don't know. It might have been higher back when we had the way back in like the 2015, 2016 time frame when we had the raffles. I don't know. I could look that up probably, but I don't know.
We might
But
have
yeah,
gotten
so
to 4,000 something, but I doubt 5,000. But I think it was 4,000 something a few times. But that was the
Yeah.
closest we've been. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
that is pretty impressive. Oh, sorry,
I-
go ahead, Jeff.
I do want to take a moment to say I want to give a big thank you to Randy Wilhelm and Chris. Randy put together a spreadsheet that has everything's accounted for. The tables that were paid for, how they were paid for, the raffles, how they were paid for. So Randy was I can't tell you how much I appreciate Randy helping us out, and he's gonna have a summary report for the next general meeting on what we did. I could, if you really wanted me to, I can maybe give you a breakdown at over email of everything, but if you can just hold on until when Randy gives us the presentation, it'd be great.
Yes, I think so too. And thank you, Jeff, as well. I know the three of you, I think it was a good 5 hours of work you
Yes.
guys put in that
Yes.
day.
Yep.
Are you planning to go to the bank? Because I know you have a lot of checks and things that
Yeah,
need
I'll
to be.
try to do that this week. I
Yeah.
need to get SSP, but yeah.
Right. Any questions on that so far on what Jeff shared? And like we said, we'll have a full report to give to the members on May 17th.
Nope, I don't have anything.
Okay. Not hearing anything, I think we'll move on to the, are there any updates? So where are we on the pancake fundraiser?
Well, didn't you say that we were going to move it to September 6th because of August 23rd, nobody was going to be available to help? Because you wanted
okay.
it to move to the 30th, and I'm like, that's Labor Day weekend, and
Well, so the 23rd, I have to go to Nebraska now for an SSP training. So you could still do it that day. I just wouldn't be around. But I mean, is the 6th, is that the date we all want, or?
that's what you had said that last meeting we talked about that.
I think
Yeah,
I
I
was
thought it
just
was.
throwing some stuff around, yeah. So I think we still need a venue. That's the big thing, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I asked, there's some confusion. So the place we did trivia could be available. There's some confusion because there was some confusion because Mom said she thought there were some things you weren't allowed to sell there, and we weren't sure if selling food was allowed. But that could be an option. They do have a kitchen. And then Robert, weren't you guys looking at some other things?
Well, I've never heard back from Dave Anders about who to contact with the Lutheran Church in Maplewood. And there is an issue. The last gathering they had there, when they do their outreaches, you have to go down, I think it's 6 steps, and they have a chair lift, but it was broken. And a couple of people that couldn't navigate steps had to sit out in the foyer, basically, which is not good. So if you want something that's handicap accessible, I don't think that one's going to work. because that chairlift is the only means they have to get down into the basement where the
Oh,
kitchen is, and it was broke. So
yeah,
um,
and we don't.
I can still try to get answers if that's been fixed as a last ditch, but they say it's real hard. They've got a new pastor there, and people have had a hard time getting a hold of him. So
Hmm. Yeah, that doesn't sound promising. Did we all, do we all, what do we think of the Richmond Heights Center? Do we want that possibly, or?
Did
I
the
like
lady
it. I mean, it's level, no stairs. Anybody could access it, and I didn't know they had a kitchen, but that's great. So
Yeah.
if they'll let us sell pancakes and stuff, then yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
would
nice
someone,
business.
I agree. Would someone want to reach out to them this week, maybe?
did she get back to you? Because remember you asked the other day.
Yeah, so yeah, she has not. I can call, or if someone else wants to call. So Kelly has typically been our point of contact.
What? Yeah.
Sorry?
I have to say, what details do we need to give them?
Well, mainly we need to know, so I think the date we're looking at is September 6th. And then we need to know, and I guess what was the times we said, Erica? Because we were gonna have
9 to 1.
right, and we were gonna have 2 time slots, I think we talked about for people, the
Because
breakfast and the,
we're labeling it breakfast/brunch.
right. Okay, so what we need from them is to know if they're available on the 6th from 9 to 1, and then can we sell food there?
Yeah, I do have another question.
Okay.
When we went over the stuff in the treasury for the trivia night, but your mom said that they owe us I think $250 for
Oh yeah. So
to
she said that they deposited that to my card.
okay. Um, so that would be in the bank on the bank
Yes.
statement. Okay, I haven't looked
Uh-huh.
at the bank statement recently.
Okay. I guess the March statement.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay. So if there's no other questions about that, we can move on. The next thing is, so we had so Jeff, did you want to do the invoice approval, or do we want to table it until we've got them all
I'd say let's
resolved?
do what we can here.
Okay.
Um, so okay, so we for the trivia night we had interpreters there from Just Inc. So the way this works out is we have a sponsorship with MCDHH. So they sponsor, they help pay for interpreters. So I'm going to give you the total of what it is, and then I'll let you know how much we actually pay on our end. So the total is $1,260. They pay 1,000, so we'll end up paying 260. And but I have to ask you this: I assume we pay the full amount, and then NCDHH reimbursed us $1,000. You think that's
So I asked Deaf Inc. and Deaf Inc. and the commission, they both said no. Apparently we just pay the 260.
okay? Okay, we have that in writing. You know, I'm somebody that likes to have things in writing. We have that
Yeah.
like that in writing.
So what Becky has asked if I can do, and I gotta get a sighted person to sit down and do it with me. Because if we can get SASI into this Missouri Buys website, that's going to give us a lot more leverage when it comes to payments, and that we'll be able to bill MCDHH directly rather than doing it this way. But it's just finding the time to get a sighted person to sit down and do it.
Okay, so then I'm just, I guess for the record, I will pay 260.
Yes.
Okay. So that's where, I think we need approval on that one. I thought we'd go
Okay.
one by one.
All right. So, Kim, do you approve the payment of the interpreters for trivia night?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff,
Yes.
Lydia,
Yes.
Erica,
Yes.
and Robert.
Yes.
Okay, that is taken care of.
So the next thing we have is for the Vanco SSP services for February. And there's a little bit of a discrepancy on here on the PayPal. So they bill us through PayPal. On the PayPal site, it says we owe 460. On the invoice, it says we owe 490. Either way, I still need to get approval for that.
Yeah, did Jessica's response on that clear that up for you?
It's been so long since I looked at that. I don't remember. You know what? I was thinking, I thought, so there was a person that was added on who isn't actually, there's a consumer in our area that was added on, but shouldn't have been. I'm thinking maybe that might be the difference.
Oh, is that with Rhonda?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, and
I
I
don't
remember
quote me
that
on
now.
that, but I think I'm just a wild guess. That's what I believe the difference is.
Yeah.
So I need approval on that.
Okay. Kim, do we have approval for the February SSP invoice?
Yes.
And Jeff,
Yes.
Lydia,
Yes.
Erica,
Yes.
Robert.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Did you want to discuss what happened with the March one?
Yeah, so the March invoice, kind of again, we got there's two entries that don't belong to us. I believe it's a couple people from Nebraska that got added to our invoice. So I'm gonna reach out to Jessica, the person who's in charge of that, and let her know that there's a couple charges on there that shouldn't be on there. So I guess I will probably when I get the revised invoice, I'll let you guys know what the total is through email, and then can we get email approval by email on that?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I
I do
think
have
that's it for
one
the.
last thing, that if I may. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
finished. So we got a donation from United Workers for the Blind of $500. So
Yes.
thank
Oh, awesome.
you, United Workers for the Blind. And that's it for me.
Okay.
This is Lydia. Did we send them like a thank you or anything, or is that still in progress?
We literally, I think, just got it.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't aware of how soon.
I actually wonder, does that, I think that might have been for trivia. So if that's the case, I think that would actually raise our total.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that was for trivia.
Yeah, it was. This is Robert. Peggy Smith called and told me about it. And she asked to kind of keep it under wraps, I guess, until the meeting, because Linda Kinkler wanted to announce that she actually got the donation from from UWB. So,
Okay.
for whatever that's worth.
Okay. Yeah.
Mr. President, this is Bob.
Mhm.
I think that is just done so that when we have our monthly meeting, they can they do that in the expenses and you know and money that we've gotten from our accounts, that they just because that check was written after our last month's meeting.
Right. Okay, makes sense. All right. Anything else before we move on? Okay. So hearing nothing, obviously we've had some feedback on the bylaws. We've all seen the emails. We know Mary has said that her concerns were that she didn't want SASI to turn into a business, an organization that handled business affairs at its general meeting. So we clarified and sent the notice out to the members explaining just the vote on the bylaws is all that Missouri law requires. I received some feedback. I don't anticipate we're going to want to make any changes. I don't think it would be popular with the rest of the membership, and personally, I disagree with it as well. But I do think that should be stated for the record. Andrea told me she is strongly against term limits. That is the only other feedback I've gotten. I don't know if anyone else has received anything that they want to share.
I haven't gotten anything.
Yeah.
No, nothing either. I think all of us, I believe we were all on the email with Millie, and yeah, I would just reiterate basically what you said, Brett, that it's, you know, we're not a business. I think the other concern that I heard Millie say was about SASI's mission statement not being in the bylaws.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the only other feedback that I'm currently aware of. One clarification. So when Andrea mentioned the term limits, was that in reference to specific board members or the whole board in general?
The whole board.
Okay.
Yeah. So she called me and said her stance on term limits is that if people are doing a good enough job, they should be able to be reelected again and again.
Yeah, but my thoughts on that, people that keep doing it over and over and over, it's gonna give them some burnout. And I think the other membership should be able to step up and do something.
And just so everyone is aware, SASI does not have per life term limits. They are consecutive. So a person could come back at a later time if it was felt that their services were needed again. You just have to have a break after those 2 full terms.
And I agree with Erica. This is Robert. I mean,
yeah,
fresh blood's always good. So, you know, and we've got, I'm just throwing a number out here, 60 members. I mean, people need to step up and do their part. I mean, if we did it, they can too. I mean, anybody can.
Right. And also another disadvantage, if you've got the same person and they're serving 5, 6, 7 terms, something happens to them, they die in office, no one else has ever done it. So there's no one really knows what to do at that point, which is never a good position to be in.
Sure. Yeah, I would agree. And this is Lydia. I would say too, you know, I definitely see the value of like want to keep good people like that do the job well on the board. Because I know sometimes we have had like some of our members, you know, maybe not sure if the board is a good fit or not. So I definitely see some value in that. Want to acknowledge that, but I do have concerns about someone like remaining on the board, like you said, basically for however long.
Mhm. And I mean, if someone wants to continue contributing, they can always move to another elected position after their 2 terms are up.
Sure, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
This is Jeff. Yeah, I think the fact that people can come back to the board after they sit out a term, I think that kind of negates the the term limiting thing.
Mhm.
And you can end up if you don't have term limits. Not everybody gives a lot of thought to who they're actually voting for. So they, oh, Jeff's been there for so years. Let's just keep him going. Meanwhile, Jeff isn't contributing the energy that he did 5 years ago, so to speak. But the members don't know that.
Right.
So, yeah, like Robert said, I think fresh blood is always good, and taking time off and then trying to do it again, that's fine.
Yeah. Obviously I think there was one thing we missed. Mary said she was concerned about the wordiness of the bylaws, that they were a little legalistic.
Oh
I've
yes.
I've not seen any comments from anyone else saying that they had any trouble reading it or anything, so.
Yeah,
This
and
is
this is.
Robert. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robert. I didn't realize you were trying to speak. Yeah, this is Lydia. I was just gonna say that I have not, as member at large, I know that you said in your email, like, contact members at large if you need assistance. I, as of right now, have not received any contact from anyone asking for clarification or unable to read them. But yeah, I would just say again for the record, I'm here to help anyone who needs assistance.
Yeah.
This is Jeff. I've seen bylaws of other organizations, and as well as us. I think ours is pretty straightforward. I know in the past it has seemed pretty legalistic, but yeah, in my opinion, we've done it pretty straightforward, and we can always call each other if we have questions. So
Right. And just as a side note, so Ezel's last day was Tuesday, so he is no longer with us. Dana, that's the supervising attorney. Because their agreement was that they were also going to give us a volunteer liability waiver, which Ezel was not able to get to. I'm gonna set up a time to meet with her this week to go over some things for that. I'm not sure if anyone else wants to be part of that meeting, but if you do, you can. I'm gonna meet with her to kind of discuss some questions, answer some questions and things. And she sent me a draft, but it's not the final waiver. So just making sure everyone knows that.
Okay. What time is that meeting on Tuesday, Brett?
Oh, we haven't scheduled it yet. It'll be sometime this week.
Oh, I'm sorry. My transcription said it was on Tuesday. Okay. Well, if you need any assistance, I'm happy to help out with that. Just let me know.
Okay.
And this is Robert. I was going to say, too, that we discussed with Ezel that he actually said he made this as simple as possible, but yet you want your bylaws to look professional because that will aid you in getting donations and things. So I think we struck a good balance here.
Yeah, and I think we can share that prior to the vote on the 17th. So I think the way it'll work, by the way, on the 17th. So what we need to do today, we need to adopt, if we're all good with it, we need to adopt what we have to advance it forward to the 17th vote. And then changes can still be made, but then we would need to reconvene. So I think, but it sounds like we're all pretty satisfied with it. So with that in mind, Kim, do you approve the bylaws for adoption to face a member vote?
I do.
All right, Jeff
I do.
and Lydia.
Yes.
Okay, Erica,
I do.
Robert.
Yes.
Okay, so that is done. I have some things to I thought we would take a little bit of time. We don't have to come to final decisions today about all this, but I thought we should take some time. So one of the critiques, and this is a fair critique that SASI has gotten from some members, is the money that we get from trivia each year, it only goes for things like food for picnics and holiday parties and nothing else. So I'm thinking we definitely want to think about it, especially since we raised so much this go around, what we want to do to really benefit SASI and the membership. So my understanding is that close to all of the listening devices that we have are getting used at our meetings. So we haven't had to deny anyone a listening device, but if all it takes is a few more new members, and that's going to happen because there won't be enough to go around, and obviously we don't want that.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do we know how old the ones we have currently?
Well, I'm serious. Does anyone remember? Because my instinct says they were bought after that was the fundraiser for the first trivia night in 2015. I don't know. Kim, I think you were on the board back then. Do you remember?
I'm sorry, were you talking to me, Brett?
Yeah. So do you remember? Because I thought the listening devices, that was the goal of the first trivia night, wasn't it? To fundraise
I
for
believe
this.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they would probably be
About
quite
10
a few
years old. About
Yeah.
10 years old then.
Yeah.
Are
Oh
they,
wow. Yeah.
This is Jeff. Are they working well? Or
I've not gotten any complaints. I don't know if Kim, I know you use them, and I think Abby uses them as well. Do they work for you?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, I don't know, Jeff. I don't know how much one costs. So, um, you know, if they're old, that's one thing. If they're not, I haven't used one. The only ones I know about are the plastic talkers. And I know those are pretty easy to use. Um, so I don't know whether like in the last 10 years the technology has improved. But if they're not too expensive, we can always replace the old ones if the old ones don't work as well.
Right.
Or we can buy more, just buy some additional.
Yeah. So I have not gotten any complaints about them, about what we've got. So that's good news.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Obviously, we know those don't work, at least unless we make some adjustments, which hopefully we can figure this out. They don't work at trivia.
Yes, it's true.
Right.
Yeah, we need to figure that out because that's pretty essential.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we don't, Brad's gonna have a million mini mics attached to his lapels next year.
Yeah, we'll need an extra large coffee cup for that. Robert, so Robert, you know a lot about audio, right?
Yeah, pretty good amount.
Yeah, because I think my dad was going to maybe have one of our church's audio technicians and maybe work with the sound people at the center. So I don't know if maybe you'd be interested in tagging along with them for that.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I know there is like a transmitter for those listening devices, and the transmitter has channels just like the devices that the consumers wear, and they have to match up. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping it was just a matter of that. The frequencies weren't matched up. I hope even the transmitter was plugged in. So
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
Oh
that
yeah.
should be an easy solution.
Right. And then I think the other thing we might need to check is the frequency, maybe. What frequency things are set on.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, because the transmitter has multiple settings for frequencies. You just need to make sure that the transmitter and the receivers people wear are matched up.
Yeah. Mary did tell me UWB has some listening devices that perhaps they'd be willing to sell to us. I don't know if that's something someone would want to talk to Kay about.
This is Robert. That would be, I mean, why buy new if there's some out there that aren't being used, and, save money, and that's a win-win.
I
Right.
agree with Robert.
And this is Lydia. I just wanted to kind of remind the group. So some of us, I think, had mentioned in the past the thought of looking at a computer for SASI in the event that
Right.
one of our members is unable to, like maybe somebody's technology doesn't work, or we have another member down the road that isn't able to use those or doesn't want to. That way SASI has the technology to operate still. So I didn't know if maybe we wanted to kind of look at costs of computers or which ones would work.
Yeah, and that reminds me too. So we actually had an incident, Lydia. I don't know if you remember way back to February 2024. I had to go out of town,
Remember.
and when I'm out of town, I got to take my computer with me typically, and I also, because it has my Vancro files on it, can't leave my system unsupervised, so I couldn't even deliver it to another board member for use.
Sure.
And then what that necessitated was I don't think anyone on the board had a laptop powerful enough to run Zoom. So Anne graciously agreed to donate her machine for that purpose. But in so doing, we had to share the Zoom password at the time with her, and she's not even a board member, which is not. I mean, I think we can all agree that the way we had to do it that time is probably not the best way to do it. I think if we had our own system that we could use for Zoom and for some other things, we would be a lot better off, because we could just, if someone's out of town, fine, just pass it to a board member who's in town.
Like,
yeah. I was thinking, because Erica and I are going to this provider fair to represent SASI with Julia on May 14th. Sam's and Costco, I'm told, have very good deals on computers. So I don't know if maybe we want to. I was thinking Erica and I might go and look at some of the machines and see if they see what we might be able to get.
Well, I guess you would be able to, you'd probably be able to install like the JAWS or the accessible technology on it.
Yeah, we could definitely. I don't know that SASI, because of JAWS's price, would want to. I mean, we could. I don't know if we would want to have to purchase JAWS for someone, because you could always slap NVDA on it. But if someone, because I think if I've got the annual JAWS subscription, which I think they give you 5 keys now, so it would be easy for someone who had that to just slap one of their keys on the system if they wanted JAWS.
Does JAWS work? Isn't I'm sorry, isn't NVDA similar to JAWS? It's not.
Yes,
Okay, so
Yeah,
One
yes
thing
and
about
no.
NVDA, NVDA is
it's
free.
yeah. Now if the president, especially, I mean, I'm just assuming right now in our example that the president of SASI is primarily the one with the machine. If the president of SASI was a Braille user, NVDA might not be enough, because I know their Braille support, depending on your display, is kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, this is Lydia. So, like, for example, I use a Focus 40. That's how I'm, reading transcription right now. And it really doesn't work well with NVDA. Like, I personally have just sort of, some of it's convenient, some of it's just like it doesn't work. Like, I just always use JAWS now because the Braille support isn't really good with NVDA. So yeah, I would say though, but you have a good point about the like 5 keys. So it would be fairly simple, I think, for someone to just like attach their key to the computer for someone needing JAWS. And then I think same goes for like Zoom text infusion. So I think we have that option.
Right.
This is Robert. With NVDA being free, I mean, you'd have both on there. I use the Brilliant BI40X with NVDA, and it works well. Now, for as far as doing input from the Braille display and controlling the computer, I think there's some lack of functionality there.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is there? I'm curious about some ideas. What would we all say? What is our ideal price range?
yeah, I'm not even sure how. I know like they come down a lot from what they used to be. I don't.
Yeah, like for example, I bought an HP a couple years ago for $5.99.
Oh,
Well, and
I haven't.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lydia.
Oh, no, you go ahead. I was going to say I haven't bought a computer in a long time.
We keep bumping heads. Yeah, that's funny. We don't need, quote, a real powerhouse, so to speak. Because we're not gaming and stuff like that. So
yeah. Yeah, the only thing I thought about is video. You'll want decent video for like interpretation and things.
I'm thinking.
Good point. Yeah, you want a good graphics card. Yes.
I'm thinking powerful enough to at least to be able to handle Zoom.
Right.
And Zoom is what I think it's like $150 a year.
Yeah.
And you do Microsoft. Oh, I can't remember how much that is. It's like $10, $10 a month or something like that.
Yeah, for Office or something, or
yeah, for Microsoft.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. I think it was Marsha Martin who expressed this concern a while ago. She said she doesn't like the fact that for SASI's cloud backups, because I do back up everything we've got, our recordings, past meeting minutes, treasury reports, and whatnot. I'm back that up to my personal OneDrive, which Marsha is not a fan of. So we might want to think about investing in something like 365. You get 2 terabytes of OneDrive space.
Yeah. What?
This is Robert, and if we do vote to get a computer, I have a recommendation of a fellow named Kevin Blale. Premier Services Inc. is the name of his company, and he gets a lot of like government over orders, and I mean new computers. I got one from him, for example, that an employee just just needed a CD-ROM. Well, the government doesn't order accessories. So they ordered this brand new supercomputer, just took the CD drive out and put it back in the box. So you can get a computer a lot cheaper, you know, from over orders and overstocks like that. But I could give you his contact info and you could talk to him.
Oh, okay, that'd be great.
Yeah. But a lot of people have ordered from him. I have, and Kay, and I mean, a lot of the blind folks know about him. He's really reputable.
Okay. So do we want to vote on this today, or? Sorry?
So what do we think the max would be that we would pay? And do we need to include all the, you know, I mean, I guess we,
Including,
you know, we can
including
just
all the
include
text.
the basic in video on your NVDA as a starter. So all we would pay for is the laptop itself, and
And
then
perhaps some sort of Office or other cloud subscription.
Right.
This is Robert. I would first look and do, I mean, I'm not opposed to getting a computer. I'm definitely in favor of that for SASI. But I think we ought to ask people in the know, you know, explain what we need. We need good video capability, you know, something with a good graphics card, etc., RAM to handle interpreting, things like that, and get an idea of what price range, and then we could come back and say, you know, our recommendations are that a computer with what we want would cost X amount of dollars, and then we'd have something to base it on.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I like that
Robert,
idea.
do you want to go ahead and give me Kevin's contact when we're done here, and I can reach out to him?
Yeah, I'll give him a call and let him know who you are and all that, and
Okay.
or you can just tell him. But yeah, I'll shoot you his contact card.
Okay. All right. So I think that is good. Did anyone else have any like potential ideas for what they wanted to do with the funds that they wanted to bring up today?
Yeah, my idea was just that, you know, we got the money that we should, you know, if we can have something that we can give the members.
Right.
You know, one of my ideas was get one of the mobility instructors at the Society for the Blind. You know, we say, hey, either give all the members like money to pay for a cane, or do a drawing, and this person gets a cane, and they can, you know, arrange it with the Society for the Blind, and we can pay for that. But
Oh,
just,
okay.
you know, just something that, you know, something that the members can actually have. And
Right.
This is Erica speaking, and I was thinking possibly we could do that riverboat tour, and Sassy could cover like some of the tickets. And if they wanted, if the members wanted the lunch, they could cover the lunch themselves.
I think did we talk about that? I think we talked, Kim and Kim and I talked
Yeah,
about that a few weeks ago.
yeah, we
And
were
I think
talking about that.
I thought we even blocked out a date now that I'm thinking about it.
This
I
is
don't
Robert.
remember. I don't remember seeing a date in that text conversation you and Kim and I were having about that.
Okay.
We said something like June or July.
Right.
This is Robert. Kind of to touch on a couple of things, we could put it to members and, you know, get their input. What would you guys like? What do you guys want? I mean, we've got this money. Come on, we want feedback from you guys. I mean, we're coming up with good ideas, but if they're, you know, if you're getting feedback that we're not really doing anything, well, tell us what you want. You know, communicate with us. And another, as far as, I like the cane idea, but I just want to throw this out here. I don't know how we could facilitate this, but the one thing you cannot buy for the blind in this town that I've found anywhere, the society sells clocks and all sorts of things, but you cannot get cane tips locally. Does anybody know where you can get them?
This is Lydia. No, the only, like, the quickest thing I found is getting them on Amazon. But even then it takes a while to get them. So, and Robert, I was going to say the same thing about, I think that we should be bringing this like to the general membership, whether at a meeting or like call and email them, see what they would like to
tell us what you want. I mean, come on, we're here for you guys. I mean, speak up.
Yeah, that might be a good follow-up for our May report after we've given the report to the members and taken their questions.
Cane tips, there is nowhere to get them.
So
the
what
Missouri
I do,
Council doesn't, the society doesn't. I mean, unless you order, and usually when you need a tip, you need a tip.
Right. That's why I usually buy 4 or 5 of them, so I've got plenty. I found that what I can do if I'm in a jam is there's a Canadian company called the Braille bookstore or the Braille superstore, and they'll do it if you're willing to pay for expedited shipping. But not everyone. I mean, I don't like paying that expedited shipping, so.
And hopefully they'll still sell it to us.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Yeah, so if
I said
somebody,
hopefully they'll still sell it to us.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to provide a service, maybe SASI could look at that, order, you know, tips and say, hey, we got tips for sale.
Hearing aid batteries are another thing.
Yes, I've heard about that. I don't have batteries personally, but I know that is an issue. And when you run out, you're out and you need them right away.
We get ours at Schnucks.
Yeah.
We just have to know what kind of batteries people use. They have different sizes.
Right.
Most hearing aids have the same.
This is Bob Jaco. No, I don't believe that. I don't think there's a standard size for those.
No. So yeah, I think we've got a good plan. We can vote. I'm sorry. We can talk about it more at the May meeting with the membership and get their feelings. I will say, I think all feedback we get should be on the record. So I am going to throw this out there. There's one member who has told me countless times by email that what they think should be done, and I think we're all going to agree this is not good budgeting or good use of money, is to take everything we have, throw a huge gala, and then zero our account, essentially.
No.
Disagree. I disagree.
Respectfully disagree.
That is just worthless spending. I disagree wholeheartedly.
Why would you do that?
They must be thinking that we're, because we're a nonprofit, we shouldn't have any money, but that's not the case.
As a nonprofit, it's fine to have money. You just need to do. You need to do so much, X number of fundraisers, which we do, and X number of community service, which we do as well. So we give and we take. So I think we're doing what nonprofits are supposed to do. You're not supposed to bankrupt yourself. Goodness.
I am going to jump around on the agenda because we have a few other kind of miscellaneous items. So we talked about the, and this is also something we can bring up to the members, about potential field trips they want. We've talked about a Cardinals game event, which would probably be in the fall when it's a little cooler, like September-ish time frame.
I would recommend that, yes.
Yeah.
I was also gonna say real quickly too, I know the society does have days where they do like audio description of the game, so maybe we can try to schedule our trip like on that day so that people can get the audio description. I don't know, just an idea to think about.
Yeah. Okay.
Or set up our own audio description too, if need be.
Yeah, that would be kind of
That's
cool.
true. Yeah, that would be neat.
The other one, we talked about the riverboat already. So yeah, I think we should probably, if we're gonna do June or July, get a date knocked down pretty soon. And let's see what else. I was looking at the possibility. I'm curious how much interest we'll get in this. Of a potentially a Blues Red Wings game as well. And I believe that those are minds described by Mind's Eye.
That's an idea.
Yeah. I don't know. Did anyone else want to add anything or?
Yes, Mr. President, the Mind's Eye also does the Cardinal game, certain Cardinal
Okay.
games as well.
Okay. Great. Okay, so yeah, I think we have some good ones planned. Oh, the Pizza Ranch one was another one we talked about. We can maybe look at that. That one, we may want to wait until the new fiscal year because a lot of people, you can't call a ride to O'Fallon, so you would have to have SSPs for that.
This is Lydia. I wonder if we should inquire with the membership at a meeting soon and see their thoughts on Pizza Ranch, given that fact, and see if the members feel that that's doable for them, or if they're like, no, we can't make that work.
Yeah, we did it for my birthday party last year, and quite a few people did show up, so it should work, but that might be a good idea.
Yeah, I'm glad that worked for a lot of people, though.
Yeah.
Mr. President, this is Robert Chico. I'm not a board member. My concern is about that, and I'm for the idea. But last year we had more SSPs than we do now.
Well, so you can share an SSP, but also we've got a couple of volunteers. We've got Karen, we've got Victoria. Who else? So if some of our volunteers are also willing to drive, that can help with that. Karen's usually willing. But I will tell you, so Deaf Inc. have said if they are re-awarded, they are going to be training some new SSPs. So,
oh, good. That's good to hear.
Hopefully, that would pan out.
And do you know when that might be? When they might do that?
No, Delinda hasn't shared any other details other than that they intend to do it. I believe they're going to utilize a combination of SSP and DB trainers as well.
Okay, I'm just the year ends at the end of June, right?
The new contract would take on July 1st.
Yeah, so we don't know if they even have a new contract yet.
Yeah, I'm assuming any other agency that might get the new one would also,
do it. Yeah.
because there's some regions that have either lost some SSPs or SSPs are no longer available during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That would be me, yes.
right.
It's
Although
kind
they
of,
did say if you put a request in and no one's available for your region, they'll send someone else to you. So
well, we'll see.
yeah,
Haven't had luck
I
with
like that
that so
answer.
far.
We'll see. Good answer.
yeah. So there was one thing I wanted to talk about. So a concern that I've had, and Jeff has brought this up to us in the past, there have been times with SASI where there's an awful lot of cash going around. Jeff has quite a bit at his home right now until he can get it deposited. And I know some members need to pay for things through cash. So I don't want to say, oh, members can no longer pay for anything via cash, because that's going to basically lock some people out. But I think potentially more people would be willing to pay for things like holiday parties, dues, and things like that via credit card if we had the ability to do that. So
This is
I've
Lydia. I
actually,
agree. Yeah.
yeah. So I've been looking at, there's a service called Square. I haven't been able to dig into the complete details yet, but apparently, because they do charge some fees if
Hey,
you buy with a
Brett,
credit card. Yeah.
this is Robert. There's a blind fellow, Greg Roggeman, who's a massage therapist who we know. His wife was with the service club, but he actually has his own business working out of a chiropractor's office, and he has that. You have the little device, but I could put you in touch with Greg, and he could tell you the ins and outs. Because we actually paid him. You can literally now just hover your credit card over this device, and it detects the little barcode or whatever on your card, and boom, it's just done. I mean, it's really cool. But Greg could give you the ins and outs, so let me put you in touch with him.
Yes, definitely. I have seen online that Square apparently will waive a lot of their fees if you're a nonprofit, so that could help us out as well.
So where would we? So if they pay by credit card, I guess they go to we have them go to the SASI website. What would we?
Well,
How would we go about doing that?
we could, that's an option, but it could also let people do it in person too. So instead of having to, because certain members, they've got credit cards, but they're not comfortable doing a holiday party payment, for example, over PayPal. So they could do that in person at a SASI meeting as well with their card if they wanted to.
Oh, is that there's I feel like I'm in the dark ages. Is there something they can? Is that like what you're talking about? So they scan something and it would get deposited into our account?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
This is Robert. That might help us with donations too, because people want convenience. So if you had a credit card option, then that could be beneficial.
And we know we need that for trivia, because that was a kind of a nightmare with some people getting their silent auction payments and things, because trying to walk them through PayPal.
Right. Yeah, I'm fully in favor of looking into this. I think that would be a really good option.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Can you explain to me how it works? So let's say I have whatever it is. So they're going to pay with their credit card. What do they? How do they give us that information?
Robert, do you want? I don't know if you can.
I will hook you up with Greg and you can pick his brain. I just know that and I saw his little device. It's about the size of a case that, like those iPhone earbuds, the little square case. It's about the size of that, and it has a little screen on it, and you can either swipe a card or it has a slot on one edge. You can insert the card in, and then it's connected to your phone, I guess, through the Square app, which you set up to tell it where you want the payments to go and how much to charge the card. But Greg can give you all the ins and outs on that.
Yeah. The only thing I was wondering is, would we still have to take down whose name it was?
That's probably on the credit card.
Right.
So I'm assuming,
Yeah, we would.
and
I'm
Greg
assuming
could
you-
confirm this, but if you take someone's card, it's going to say the name of whose card it is too. So
For your records, wouldn't you still have to keep a log of who's paid? So you would
Yeah,
have to still write their name and stuff down.
we still need
Yeah.
to know who
Yeah.
paid what. So
well, I know
But
with PayPal, you can go in and see your transactions, and if you've made notes, like I just sent our dues to Jeff. I assume you got those via PayPal, Jeff, for
Yep.
me and Kim.
Yep.
And I put notes in there. I put $10, and in the notes I said, SASI dues for Robert and Kim Vaughn. So, I can go into my PayPal and see every transaction that was done to who and why.
well, we got to know that the whoever makes a payment can do that.
Right.
Right. And that's what, like I said, I'll put Brett in touch with Greg. And Greg does this for his business, and he's totally blind, so he definitely knows the accessibility ins and outs.
Okay,
And,
cool.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That
But I'm
was gonna be
thinking
my
this.
other-
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Brett. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm thinking this will also be a lot safer for us too, so there's not so much cash going around or possibility, because I know it happens sometimes. You find a check or a bill or something and you're not sure what it was for.
Yeah, I hate.
Yeah.
Like I say, as much as we can get away from using cash, the better.
And this is Lydia. I was just going to comment that I think it's great that he is blind as well and can speak to the accessibility, because that was going to be my other question is if we get the app, that's great, but we want to make sure it works. So I'm glad we have a connection.
Yes. Also, we have a tentative trivia date for 2026. That is April the 4th, which is a Saturday. We're trying to experiment, and the reason we picked that date, we're trying to experiment with the possibility of what happens if we schedule outside of the spring break window, because that has been a problem we ran into the last few years. But it's also not so deep into April, because that was also a complaint we got. So it is reserved. It's not paid yet, but it is reserved. Also, on June the 5th, that's a Thursday evening, we will be having the scam workshop that we've been teasing for a while, but haven't been able to nail down a presenter or a date. We have Katie McPhee with the accessibility department at T-Mobile. You may remember her. She coordinated the Taste of Technology conferences a few years ago. She's already has a presentation that she's done for some other places. She's doing it in St. Louis that week, and we went with a Thursday night because that was the only time we could get into the society. But we have that.
Awesome. I'm glad I think she'll be great for that. Glad we found
Yeah.
her as a resource.
Do you
Yeah.
know what time that's going to be?
6 to 8:30. So yeah. And I will, she asked me to hold off on making an email announcement to the membership until she sent me the flyer, which she told me she'd get yesterday, but didn't. So as soon as I have that, I'll send something out to the members. But yeah, that's exciting. Just a quick update. So we have a new member that wants to, for the members at large. One of our new members, Jack Lenk, is requesting phone calls about any news or things going on with SASI. So if one of you can take that up. I'm hoping to be able to, I was really hoping that I would have had them for Tuesday, because we have requests for Braille bylaws from Jack and Rhonda. I have not been able to. I'm still, my embosser is set up, it's loaded up, it's just not, my computer and it are not liking each other. So hoping NanaPack can help me get that resolved soon. But in the meantime, I think it might be a good idea to, have, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, to have one of the members at large reach out to Rhonda and to Jack to see if they would like to have them read to them. I don't know if one of the three of you would be willing to do that.
That's a lot of reading, Brett. If they could listen to our computer, if we can get it loud enough for them to hear it, because that is a lot of reading.
Yeah.
And another thing with Rhonda, I've reached
Mhm.
out to her several times and she does not answer her phone. I've sent her text messages. She does not respond to her text either.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, and it's confusing because I know she's got 2 different cell numbers too, but even then, sometimes she doesn't answer them.
This is Jeff. Isn't there something, this is years ago, something called voice stream? I think you can scan a document and then it'll read. Well, there's a lot of things that can scan and read, but what about doing like a scanning a document and reading it, having it read and making like a recording?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I can
one
do
way
it.
to do it.
Yeah.
If you didn't
I-
have it on your computer. Voice Dream Reader, I know what you're talking about. That is a good app for the iPhone.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
I don't. The only thing with Jack, I know he doesn't have much in the way of technology, I don't believe.
Right. So then like opening the recording could be an issue.
Right.
He has an iPhone, I thought.
Does he?
I thought he has an iPhone.
No,
Okay.
I think he backed down to a blind shell like some people did.
Oh, okay.
Robert, this is Robert. I thought, and he did go to a blind shell, but I think, Robert, I think he is back with his iPhone. We might check with him.
Yeah, I can check with him. Yeah.
I thought I've seen him like texting from an iPhone.
I
Okay.
thought I had.
Well, playing it from the computer, let the computer read it. It doesn't have to take a breath. I agree with Erica. I mean, you can adjust the speed and all that. If they can understand us, I mean, there's definitely a voice they could understand. So yeah, I would go that way. Let the computer do the work.
Yeah. Yeah,
Of course,
I
they
agree.
wouldn't be able to ask questions,
Well,
they-
I mean, if they're on, if someone's on standby, he could say,
yeah, I mean, I got you, whoever, Erica, I'm just gonna use your name. If
Okay.
Erica sets it up so that the computer reads it and Jack says, hey, I don't understand this section, Erica would you might be able to help it explain that. Is that a idea or not?
That's gonna be kind of hard for me because some of that stuff it's above my pay rate, so to
hmm,
speak.
okay,
I mean, I can explain it to the best of my ability.
Right, that's all anybody can
Right.
do.
right.
Same for me. Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah,
idea of having somebody on standby, Brett?
kind of, yeah. I mean, they could always ask a question and we can, whoever it is, can do their best to answer it.
Yeah, they shouldn't be responsible for answering it. That's true. But
Mhm,
at least, yeah, I guess if you're saying if the person can't hear it or something, or
mhm,
the person on standby can kind of make those adjustments.
mhm. Right.
Okay.
And hopefully, fingers crossed, Vince is able to help me get the Juliet going, and I can get a sighted person to deliver the Braille copy to him.
And Mr.
Ru-
President, this is Bob.
Uh-huh.
I had requested a Braille directory as well,
Uh-huh.
but since I can do email, don't worry
Mhm.
about until
Well,
you can get
we
an answer
can.
done. Just
So I just.
email it to me.
So here's the thing with the Braille directories. We're about at the time of year where they need to be redone. So
Right.
I haven't gotten confirm. I need to, and that's my fault. I need to reach out and confirm that Mary's still willing to do it. If she is, you might be better off waiting until the new directory is ready and then we can emboss them. If you really, really want the directory now, I
Right.
can, of
Yeah.
course.
And until that, or unless, I mean, if it's going to make a difference as to when I actually get it, you could just send it to me email.
Okay. And that reminds me, so Rhonda is actually trying to call us now. I'm accessing the meeting on my phone, so can't do that. Do we want to? Does someone, I don't know if someone has a free phone they want to try to call her on and see
We're
if
about
she,
done, aren't we?
yeah, or we can just have Bob do that, because the only thing we've got left is the picnic committee report and then scheduling the next meeting. But Bob is here and can also do the picnic committee report, whichever we want to do.
It doesn't matter to me.
It's your pleasure. I'm right here, but if she gets on, then I will back
Yeah,
out. I mean, I
someone
will
someone
back
would
out.
have to call her on their phone. I know, Bob, you're accessing on your phone. I'm accessing on mine. So that's
Yeah,
not an option.
well, and my problem is on the blind shell, it does not allow three-way.
Right.
It does not allow.
So,
Now
yeah, so
I do have a landline that I could use, but that means I have to get out and
right.
call and get her in. I mean, I still have a landline, so I
Right.
could do that, but it'll take longer to do that than to give the report.
Right. Yeah. Unless someone wants to volunteer to call her, I think we probably just go ahead and have Bob read it.
Bob, read it.
Okay.
Okay,
Bob, so do you want to
tell me when.
just so Bob has been on the picnic committee. We've kind of already talked about by text because we had some decisions we needed to make, but we'll go ahead and officially voted in today. So Bob, what are the recommendations and findings of the picnic committee?
Okay, the recommendations of the committee are that it will be that the picnic will be at Brentwood Memorial Park, and I do have the address, but I have to look at it real quick. And if you want me to find it, I can do that real quick. But it's at Brentwood Memorial Park on June 22nd. The date has excuse me, has been changed to Sunday, June 22nd, and it will be from 2 until 6 p.m. Uh-oh. Drop out. Hello?
Hello? Yeah, we're still hearing you.
Oh, I heard a beep and I thought, oh no. It's between 2 and 6. The meal will consist of chicken, potato salad, a regular salad, and dessert. I believe it was either cookies or cake or Brett. Do you remember what we?
So
we
yeah, that's
decided on that?
kind of up to us. So we chose not to
Right.
have Neil, the caterer, provide it. So we'll be providing that ourselves.
Right. We'll be doing that ourselves.
Did you guys put in baked beans? I didn't hear you say that.
No,
Oh, yeah,
we hadn't. Or at least
Yes,
I wasn't aware of that. Or
Oh, I'm sorry.
was asleep when they decided to do baked beans. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
So we're adding baked beans to the menu. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. That will be duly noted. And that is the recommendation of the committee, and we have all agreed on that. And Brett was an ex officio member of that committee. And yes, are there any other questions that you might have? That is the recommendation that we
Do we have prices? Like, do we know how much they're gonna renting the pavilion and how much they do?
Yeah, do you have the price breakdown, Bob? If not, I've got it in front of me.
Oh, let me see. I don't remember. I know that they gave us, was it $50? Oh, it was $50.
Well,
it was $50.
Yeah. So they charged us. Oh, they charged us $75.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yes. And I think I need to get that receipt to Jeff as well.
75 for what?
That's the pavilion.
Right.
Oh, excellent. Cool.
I thought they told me 50, so you might want to check with them about that.
Yeah. But like the transaction and what they told me on the phone because I went ahead, Rhonda offered to do it, but I know it would take us some time to reimburse her since she doesn't have PayPal, and I did not want her to be out that money, so I went ahead and paid it. They said on the phone, and then they charged $75. So
okay.
I think it should probably be noted, we had the option of doing a Saturday one at the pavilion, but it would have been at a pavilion with no electricity, which means no fans. I do have an up. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to just make a point. The 22nd of June can be hot.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question. What happens if it's raining? What do we do?
So I have an update on that.
Right.
So I was hoping we could get the society that day as a backup, just text everyone. But unfortunately, they can accommodate us on the 21st, not the 22nd. So if there's rain in the forecast, we'll need to obviously change it so people can adjust their SSP assignments. We'll have to change it a few days ahead.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna, just to clarify, if it's raining, does that mean we absolutely can't do it? I mean, I think the pavilion is,
Is it closed in?
I mean, I think you're
I
shielded from
It's
the,
open on three. It's open on three sides because one side is where it's attached to the building for the bathrooms.
Oh,
If that
okay.
makes sense.
I see what you're saying.
Mhm.
So basically, it looks like an extended awning.
Like a patio, yeah. It's a big
Yeah.
awning. It's open
Okay.
on three sides, but the back side is the building for the bathrooms.
Okay.
This is Jeff. I wouldn't risk it. You don't know how hard it's going to rain. You might, do we want to be making those judgment calls? So I would say even if it's sprinkled, let's not leave anything to chance. Because it's unpredictable.
And I have a real concern about, I mean, you can't solve the world's problems.
Mhm.
But if you get SSP, for example, you get an SSP for a Sunday
Mhm.
and there's a forecast for rain, and you contact your SSP and he or she says, "Oh my golly gee, no, I can't SSP for the 21st."
Yeah, so what people would have to do is kind of let people know ahead as they're booking, unfortunately.
Right. Right. So you
Which I
need to
mean,
book them for both days. So,
right.
you're
There too, yeah.
I think the chances nothing's impossible, but I think in June the chance of rain is pretty slim,
Right.
especially that late in June.
yeah,
Mhm.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Of course, because it is that date, it will make a liar out of us.
Mhm.
Right, yeah, I hear that. Yeah, Murphy's Law, man.
Mhm.
Don't speak it into existence. It won't happen then.
Right.
Right, you're right.
I do want to give a breakdown on cost. So, it is 75 for the pavilion, it looks like. We've then got Neil, the price that Neil gave us is $630. That is for the chicken, and it's fried chicken, baked beans, twice baked potato salad, regular salad with 3 dressings, ranch, Italian, and Chipotle ranch. That's obviously not including our dessert cost and any drinks we purchase, which we've got drinks. I think the one thing we're out of is diet soda. So we'll just add that. And then we tend to tip Neil 20%, which is
We've definitely got
120.
sodas.
Yeah.
Let me look down there and see what we have. And then I can tell you if, before we go grab sodas, I'll tell you what we got.
Yeah.
So
This
what,
is Kim.
Mr. President, oops, sorry, Kim.
This is Kim.
Sorry,
Now,
Kim.
are we out of water? Because people like water too, but I didn't know if the water got used up for trivia or not.
They didn't give me the water. I don't know if somebody else took that. But yeah, we definitely need water too.
Right.
so we're looking
And
at
Miss,
spending, sorry, Jeff, we're gonna, looking at spending around $1,000, maybe, for the whole thing.
It's probably going to total around 800 something.
Yeah,
Once you,
I'm going higher just in case.
yeah. His tip amount. So I'm taking 630 times 20%. That's 126.
Yes, 7, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, I would think I think you're right, but probably will be around 800.
All right. So does anyone, so Jeff, do you have an objection to that price or?
Nope. I just wanted to
Okay.
get an idea. I just hire and hope that we go low. Just
Right.
for my,
Yeah, because
Yeah, I
did you
mean,
include the desserts in that, Brett, too?
the desserts, yeah, not in
Yeah.
the 630 because that's our, I mean, I'm gonna say,
No,
what
I'm talking
is,
in like in the total cost, because you said eight something, but you didn't include the desserts in there. You talked about the 630 and his tip, but you still hadn't included the desserts and whatever
so
soda.
without desserts and drinks, we're at 841.
Okay. See, Jeff did guess
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah,
higher.
he did.
Mhm.
Hmm. And that was a good idea.
thank you. I need, yeah, if we were going over 1,000, then I'd start asking more questions, but yeah.
Right. I mean, I was thinking we'd make the picnic free for the members. Is that still what we want to do?
Yes, because this is too short a notice to let them
Yeah,
know that they would have, and then we have so much to handle at May 17th.
yeah.
Right.
Right. And
Okay.
and Mr. President, we were talking earlier about, the
Excuse me.
things we can do, bless you, things we can do. And that's for the members, include the members, but also have this is a good example of doing that.
All right. Well, are there any other questions before we vote? Hearing none. Kim, do you approve the recommendations of the picnic committee?
Yes.
All right. Oh yeah, Jeff.
Yes.
Okay. Lydia.
Yes.
Robert.
Yes.
And Erica.
Yes.
Okay. And thank you to Bob, Rhonda, William, Julia, and Tasha for their work. And of course, we're grateful to Neil for being willing to cater this again. So a couple other things, and we'll zoom through this because we're coming close to 11. So we've got future meetings. So here's what's coming up. May, we've got the bylaw vote, an election. June's our picnic. August, we're hearing from Phonak, and I'm gonna see if perhaps we can squeeze in the I Can Connect and MOTAP and all of the programs that Missouri Assistive Technology has. Will be having a new director. So seeing if we can squeeze in whoever that person is into the meetings as a second presentation. We've got quite a few things we can do for September. So I've got the police presentation if we hear from them. Kim and Robert, I know you guys have had a game that we haven't been able to do. But we also, I think we had Lydia down. Lydia, knowing that your story does not have a happy ending, I just wanted to check. Do you still want to go ahead and share it with the members?
Yeah, let me see. So I was gonna get the update, and I know Brett, I texted you that I didn't hear anything. So let me, if it's okay with you, let me see what I can kind of find out first, and then
Yeah.
if that works.
Yeah, and you can make a case. I mean, this is totally your call because I mean, you can decide that even if things haven't ended well, that you want the members to know about what happened. And I mean, if that's the case, we'll absolutely still let you present.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
'Cause-
obviously, it would have been ideal to like have Billy there and like demonstrate some things, but can definitely still talk about guide dogs and whatnot. So
Well, so we always have too, as a tradition, whenever a SASI member returns from Helen Keller, they get to share their experience.
uh-huh. Oh, that's right. Yeah. No, I can do that. I think like I said, want to kind of think it over and figure out what would work for presenting and kind of think about what I want to say. Of course, there's some time between now and then, but
Yeah.
obviously we're trying to get this sorted out. So yeah, I could definitely probably talk about some. Let me just see what I find out, and
Okay.
I'll keep you posted.
Okay. And yeah, the story may not even be over yet. So
Correct. Yeah.
yeah.
So I think that that's kind of part of, maybe talking about like this is the importance of guide dog etiquette because
Mhm.
this is what can happen. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, and I think the importance too, I mean, if another SASI member is considering going to HKNC, letting them know, here's what could happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm. In October, it looks like we're doing Name That Tune. So then that takes us to November, which we all know is the holiday party. Some things that I'm working on, I would love to have, and Lydia, you might be able to help me with this for 2026. Or earlier if we can squeeze it in somehow, but I'm just not sure if we can, would be the deaf blind affiliate for NFB coming to talk to us about what they do.
Yeah, I could definitely help with that.
Yeah.
Have some connections, and I'm also involved, so maybe that could be like me and or someone else kind of speaking about that group.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Jenny being there would probably be good too.
Yes, definitely, because she's kind of one of the main heads of it. So yeah.
The other topic idea, someone wanted a while ago put a request in for a presentation on. We did it a long time ago. I think I still have the recording of it too. On Social Security, Medicaid, wills, trusts, all those things, and what to know about them. Obviously, I mean, that was done, I think, in 2018, maybe possibly earlier. So things have definitely changed from then until 2026, which is when we would be doing it. So I think having an updated.
Plus you have the ABLE account now too, so.
Yeah, and I was going to suggest, someone asked if we could have Sandy come back to talk about ABLE accounts. So that might be an option. Any other things anyone has either gotten from other members or wants to contribute as possible meeting ideas?
Nothing for
No.
me. I do. So I just need to step away real quick for the restroom, but I will be right back.
Okay. Okay, not hearing anything. I will say maybe next year we'll try to do, we've done a lot of speakers this year, which is fine, but I think the members like some variety. So some show and tells might be good. I don't want SASI to be too, because we get complaints if we do too many tech meetings in a row, but I think having one or two might be good.
Sometimes the members like to just socialize too, so
Yeah.
we definitely want to build that in, So I've heard in past years complaints, well, there's always something going on. Why can't we just, have some informal time too?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I did forget to mention, the committee did request Mary to perhaps do some games for the picnic, and she said she would get back to us once she could confirm if she had an SSP. So
yeah, Brad, this is Bob. I'm still here.
okay, yeah.
Rhonda did ask
Yes.
Mary, and maybe maybe you've talked to Mary since Rhonda did, and Rhonda told Mary told Rhonda that yes, she would do that.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. All right, any other business anyone needs to bring up before we call it a day? And I know we've gone through a lot of stuff, so thank you everyone for your attention. Thank you to Bob for being here as well to represent the committee. And thank you
The
for
next
those.
meeting, the next board
Yes.
meeting.
So we have two things. We want to probably, we can do that by text, schedule the breakout room stuff. But we need to have that probably done a week before the meeting, no later than that. We did get a very nice message from Isaiah letting us know that today is his last day being able to interpret for SASI. So we do want to thank Isaiah for his time working with us and wish him well going forward. So thank you, Isaiah. And Isaiah says no problem. So we've got for the next board meeting, June 7th, 14th, or 28th. Any preferences?
Did you catch that, Kim? Next board meeting, June 7th, 14th, 21st, or did you say the 21st too, or
No.
not? Oh, 7, 14, or 28, okay.
Yeah.
I say
So,
28th. I say June
Okay.
28th.
Okay.
Thank you. 28.
28,
I'm almost done.
it even rhymes, 28 is great, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think Lydia came back, but I can fill her in on that. Yeah, sounds like we'll go with the 28th then.
Tell her we decided while she was in the bathroom that she would fund the picnic this year.
Right.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's what she gets for stepping away, so you'll have to
Yeah.
mess with her a little bit, yeah.
That's why
we
your
need-
nickname is Trouble.
we need to, Robert, I think we need to, I'm not a board member, but I think we need to send her a letter of thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for your kind donation for picking up the tab
Right.
for the picnic.
Yeah.
That was nice of you. Yeah. That was
Right.
great.
Same time, 9:30.
Does that work for everyone?
Do we want 9:30 or do we want later?
We do our 11 a.m., 9:30. Some people, if it's summertime, they've been up late, and we just do our 11 a.m.
Yeah, and you and I, Erica, well, that's the day after you and I get back, Erica, actually, so that might be good too.
Hey, later's better for us, man. We
Yeah.
could do it at
Right.
midnight. I'm fine with that too.
All right, so the next one will be June 28th at 11.
Sounds good.
11.
And then
And is
and then,
the next SASI meeting the 17th?
May 17th at 10. Yep.
That's what I thought.
So yeah, we will test out we'll schedule another time to test out the breakout rooms and make sure they are set up for voting. I think it'll work, but we'll make sure.
It's not
Sorry.
okay. Lydia just texted in the SASI board members message group. It won't let her come off mute, and the 28th is the only day that she is available.
Okay.
Perfect.
So that works
All right.
perfectly.
Yeah. Lydia's the 28th, the only day she's available. All right.
Yes.
It's a done deal. That's good.
All right. So I think we are good. Kim, obviously, I will see you in a couple of hours.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep,
Thank
and
you.
my Jennifer
All right.
Marie
Thank-
says, my Jennifer Marie says, Erica Marie, get ready.
Uh-huh.
we're gonna be getting you in about an hour, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a great day,
Yeah.
everyone.
So what time,
Alrighty.
Brett? About
All right.
4 to 4:30?
Have a good one.
Yeah. All right.
All right, see you
Bye,
later.
everyone.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Oops. Whoops.